It was Donald Trump's most effective debate performance to date. What is the net effect of that? It stops the bleeding.
I think he stopped the bleeding.
Staunch the flow of blood.
Stem the bleeding.
He stemmed the bleeding.
He stopped the bleeding.
May have stopped some of the bleeding.
He may have stopped the bleeding.
But at least he stopped the bleeding.
Many said, I think he stopped the bleeding.
Trump managed to stop the bleeding.
He probably did enough to really stem the bleeding.
He needed to stop the bleeding.
His number one job last night may have been simply to stop the bleeding.
He may have done enough to kind of, as you put it, stop the bleeding.
Apparently, Trump needed to stop the bleeding. Did he do that last night?
I think he did.
Do you think Trump's performance stopped the bleeding in terms of Republicans jumping ship?
I suspect it mostly did.
If his goal is to priority one was to stop the bleeding on the right, then it may have succeeded in that.
Trump's job was to stop the bleeding from the videotape. Did he do it?
He did, and then he strolled out of the emergency room.
The way you guys describe it sounds like triage almost.
We'll see. I think he lives to fight another day. It's not over yet.
This could be one of the biggest knockouts I've seen in a presidential debate.
He dominated the second debate.
It was epic. It was vintage Trump.
I thought he was like a big silverback gorilla.
They thought they had it in the bag over the last 48 hours. Donald Trump just reset the game.
Showed that he could be, very knowledgeable, or at least somewhat knowledgeable on some topics.
His campaign, which was supposed to end last night during the debate, is still going. It's a victory.
Some are asking, did Trump do enough to stop the bleeding last night in terms of the feedback on that?
I'd say the fact that that's what people are talking about,
right,
clearly.